What types of Medicaid are available for adults with disabilities? For professionals. Presented by Granite State Independence Living's Financial Planning and Benefit Services. Important, the information in this presentation is based on the 2013 federal poverty level limits. What is Medicaid? Medicaid is a federally subsidized health insurance program available to low-income individuals and families who need assistance paying for their health care. Medicaid provides coverage to families, children, the elderly, pregnant women, and people with disabilities. What types of Medicaid are available to adults with disabilities? There's aid to the permanently and totally disabled, or APTD. There's old age assistance, or OAA, aid to the needy blind, or ANB, APTD, OAA, and ANB Cash Assistance, which all make you categorically needy eligibility for Medicaid. You must explore and apply for all potential kinds of income to which you may be entitled to qualify for these programs. In and Out Medicaid, also known as Medicaid with a spend down, Medicaid for employed adults with disabilities, also known as MEAD, temporary assistance to needy families or financial assistance to needy families, and then there are special categories of coverage under the Home and Community-Based Care Waivers and 1619B Medicaid protection. What are the requirements for APTD Cash and Medicaid program? Requirements for eligibility: you must be between 18 and 64, have a medical condition expected to last at least 4 years or result in death, not be earning over the substantial gainful activity of $1,040 in 2013, have resources below $1,500, have income below $724 in 2013 for an individual. Cash assistance is also available through the APTD program. If an individual qualifies for APTD Cash, they automatically are eligible for APTD Medicaid. Can you tell me more about the APTD Cash Assistance Program? The APTD Cash Assistance Program is funded in its entirety by state dollars. The calculation for cash benefits is different than the calculation for Medicaid coverage because of this, and the Medicaid calculation is federally mandated. An individual may not be eligible for APTD Cash but still be eligible for APTD Medicaid. An individual applying for APTD Cash must also apply for all potential kinds of income to which he or she may be entitled in order to qualify for this program. And this includes applying for SSDI or SSI. How does the state calculate eligibility for APTD Cash Assistance and for APTD Medicaid? For the APTD Cash, they take the gross earned income and subtract an earned income disregard of $20, $30 or half the remainder, whichever is smaller, and then they deduct actual employment expenses, or $18, whichever is greater. Actual employment expenses include FICA taxes, federal withholding taxes, transportation costs, and child care costs, among other items. They also take into account unearned income such as SSI or SSDI. For the APTD Medicaid calculation, they take the gross earned income and they subtract a $65 earned income disregard, impairment work expenses if applicable, and half the remainder. The impairment-related work expenses include items that are related to the person's disability, are not paid for by any other source, and are necessary in order to successfully work. Unearned income is taken into account, but SSI cannot be counted by federal mandate. Is it true that if someone is eligible for SSI, they are automatically eligible for Medicaid? Unlike most other states, an individual who receives SSI cash benefits is not automatically eligible for Medicaid in New Hampshire. New Hampshire is known as a 209B state, which means that their Medicaid rules are more restrictive than the ones established by the federal government. This means that someone who is a new SSI recipient must apply for Medicaid through DHHS. How are old age assistance and ANB, or aid to the needy blind, different than APTD Medicaid? There are the same guidelines as APTD Medicaid to apply, with the following exceptions. For old age assistance, you must be over the age of 65 and you do not need to have a disability. For aid to the needy blind, you must be legally blind, but you can be any age. The same rules for cash assistance and categorical eligibility for Medicaid apply. Cash assistance and medical assistance calculations are similar to the APTD calculations. What is In and Out Medicaid? This is also known as Medicaid with a spend down. It provides coverage to individuals who do not meet the income limit for cash assistance for APTD, ANB, OAA, Medicaid. The other requirements still apply. There's income, you must have income over the protected income limit of $591 for a single person or $675 for a couple. You must have no more than $2,500 for a single person or $4,000 for a couple resources. In and out refers to the fact that an individual must requalify for Medicaid each month on this program. A spend down amount is determined for each individual on this program. What's a spend down? How does it work? A spend down is how much has to be received in unpaid medical expenses before Medicaid will begin coverage for that month. For example, $100 spend down means that the person must have acquired $100 in unpaid medical expenses before Medicaid will begin coverage for the month, even if the $100 is not accrued until the last day of the month. That is the soonest that Medicaid will begin. The spend down calculation is the same as APTD Medicaid. The spend down amount is the difference between APTD protected income level of $591 or $675 and the individual's countable income. For example, a person who has $745 in countable income will have a spend down of $154 each month. Is there an option for someone who is disabled and working? Yes, Medicaid for Employed Adults with Disabilities, or MEAD. This program provides coverage to individuals with disabilities who have employment. You must be between the ages of 18 and 64 years old. You must be employed or self-employed for pay. You must be paying FICA and related taxes, meet the medical eligibility for Medicaid in New Hampshire, and meet the monthly income limit of up to $4,309 for an individual and the resource limit of up to $26,754 for an individual. Retirement accounts are excluded when calculating someone's resource limit for MEAD. A premium is possible depending on income. How is the MEAD premium calculated? Calculation for countable income under MEAD is the same as for APTD Medicaid. The premiums are calculated by taking the individual's countable income and comparing it to the premium chart. An individual with countable income of $1,436 or less per month will not have a premium. If an individual has enough income to make them eligible for a premium, the MEAD premium amount is reduced by the cost of other healthcare premiums paid by the individual. Most often this is the healthcare premium for Medicare Part B. For example, an individual with $2,205 in countable earned income per month would be eligible for a premium of $144 per month. They have their Medicare Part B and they pay a premium of $104.90 per month for that. Their MEAD premium will be reduced accordingly. So if their MEAD premium is $144 and you subtract $104.90 for Medicare, they're paying $39.10 per month for their MEAD premium. And here's the MEAD premium scale. Are the MEAD income and resource limits higher than with other Medicaid programs? And they are. And here you can see the income requirements and the resource requirements. Are there other benefits to being on MEAD? MEAD offers several types of protected savings accounts to the recipients. There are MEAD employability accounts. This is where you set aside specific account and money in a specific account for purchasing goods and services not covered by Medicaid that assist their employability. Savings in this account are not counted as resources for the MEAD program, but they are counted as resources for other Medicaid programs and for other programs that the individual might be on. The medical savings accounts are tax-exempt accounts set up for the sole purpose of paying qualified medical expenses. Funds in a medical savings account cannot be used to pay for medical premiums. Savings in this account are not counted as resources for the MEAD program, but are counted as resources for other programs. And then there's the MEAD earned income accounts, and these are separate bank accounts that contain the MEAD recipient's earnings from work, only earnings from work. These earnings are not counted as resources when the individual leaves the MEAD program and wants to enroll in a different Medicaid program. But savings in this account are countable resources for MEAD. What if my client is on MEAD and suddenly becomes unemployed? It depends. MEAD offers a 6-month extension for individuals who become unemployed for good cause, such as discrimination by an employer based on their protected status, work demands or conditions that render unemployment but render continued employment unreasonable, if they leave a job in order to accept a job offer which is subsequently withdrawn, or if they leave a job because of circumstances beyond their control which render continued employment impracticable. After 5 months of extension, the individual must provide DHHS with proof of new employment, continued work searches, or proof of an ongoing medical issue. If the individual provides proof of these things, their coverage may continue for an additional 6 months. If a MEAD recipient becomes unemployed because of any reason not considered to be a good cause, they will be terminated from MEAD. Is there a Medicaid program for people on TANF or FANF? Medicaid coverage for low-income adults and families with dependent children. Under the TANF and FANF Medicaid eligibility groups, there's New Hampshire Employment Program, the Family Assistance Program, Unemployed Parent, Families with Older Children, and Interim Disabled Parent. A person can have a spend down with TANF, FANF Medicaid if they do not qualify for cash assistance because they are over the income limits. Can you explain the HCBC waivers to me? Once a person qualifies for medical assistance, they can qualify for a Medicaid waiver under the Home and Community-Based Care, or HCBC. There's HCBC CFI, which is Choices for Independence, HCBC Developmentally Disabled, or DD, and HCBC ABD, which is Acquired Brain Disorder. These HCBC Medicaid waivers provide additional coverage and services for these specific populations. What is the cost of care? Individuals in HCBC programs may be subject to a cost of care, which is the amount that someone on a HCBC plan must pay out of pocket for their services. This is if their income exceeds the limits for the program, and the difference between their income and the income limit is the cost of care with some deductions. HCBC CFI does not have a cost of care. Individuals on a HCBC program that may have a cost of care will not have one if they are on MEAD as well. And you can be on HCBC and on the 1619B Medicaid Protection Waiver and on MEAD, but you must stay below the $2,000 resource limit in order to continue to be eligible for 1619B. What about people on SSI who go back to work? Are there Medicaid protections for them? Medicaid protection for SSI recipients who earn enough to zero out their cash payment is known as 1619B. When an individual's cash payment stops, their Medicaid coverage will continue. 1619B keeps individuals tied to SSI. If their earnings drop low enough, their SSI cash benefits will begin again, with no need to reapply. This protection can be accessed through any Medicaid program as long as the requirements are followed. If you would like more information, you can view the rest of the videos to learn more. You can contact Granite State Independent Living for assistance. You can visit the New Hampshire Work Incentive Resource Center. You can contact the Social Security Administration or New Hampshire's Department of Health and Human Services. If you are connected with an area agency, a mental health center, or vocational rehabilitation, you can contact them for more information and assistance.